And to set context, today it might seem like it's easy for us to say these things that money is not important, etc. But keep in mind that as journalists, you don't get paid much. And we started right at the bottom, right? And at a time when automotive journalism was basically nothing more than a fancy, right? Today it's at least has a semblance of being a job and an organized space. Somewhat, yeah. But it wasn't like that. So when we started off, it was I mean, you were scraping through. He's spoken about when he started off. It was no different for me. I'd moved from Pune to Mumbai, and I thought I was getting paid a lot until I arrived in Mumbai and realized that shit, this is not enough to make it through over here. I didn't know what it cost to live in Mumbai at that point in time. So we were staying in an apartment where we were two-bedroom apartment, and I think we were at 1.8 people or 10 people at times, depending who was visiting, right? So it's we've been through all of that. We've done that. He's, so to speak, rubbed pennies together to get to the motorcycles that he wanted. I never thought mine would happen until it did. But in the background, we had done our best to be prudent with our money as well. We did not have excesses that we would indulge in, be it at that point travel or going out or stuff like that. Our focus was what we were doing, so we were happy in that.
Yeah.
I think that helped us massively, which again links back to the previous conversation on disconnect. So we were really happy with what we were doing, and that I guess helped us build up that opportunity. And slowly, it happened over time. I think it was definitely over 10 years since you'd been working in this space till you bought your bike. Over 10 years.
Over 10 years.
Over 10 years.
14 years.
Yeah, something like that for me as well. And I also don't think I would have done it. I still felt unsure about it because it was a big sum of money buying the Busa. But my wife was like, oh, she was the one who brought that point in, saying that abhi nahi karega to kab karega.
Correct.
As in, if you don't do it now, then when are you going to do it? And that's how the Busa happened, right? So we've been through all of that. I would have made a bad decision not going for the Busa back then, but there was somebody to help me out. But great point, saying that keep that in mind, that time is the ultimate commodity that you have and that you want to make the most of, and money is a tool to help you do.
Yeah, and time thing is a conscious thing, okay? It's not don't get suckered into the idea saying, oh, I don't have a super bike at 23, so life is over. No, your reflexes are fundamentally going to be where they are till you're 35. If you put in a little bit of work and stay on top of your health, nothing fundamentally is going to change between 23 and 35. So if you get your bike at 35, you're still in a very, very good place. Can you earn enough money to get something super exotic at 23? Few can manage this. In our conditions, is that a good idea for you though? It's a terrible idea. You're going to hurt yourself. Right? If you had this goal, I would say from 23 to 28 is the work up. Every year, you spend a lot of time with a small motorcycle, learn everything about that bike. Everything. How to extract every single thing from that bike. Then step up. And then step up. All of this investment at 28, you will be a phenomenal rider. And at that point, any time you can afford the big bike, you will be fine. I guarantee it. The problem is the idea that I'm 25, I come out of MBA school or whatever, and suddenly I go from, I have no money, what do I eat? This in the canteen, they're not giving me credit, to I have a 2 crore rupee bank balance or some nonsense like this, right? This is when the idiocy happens.
I was 27 and I remember Yamaha launched the R1. And this was when I was at CNBC. And Renuka Kriplani, she was my boss. And we were traveling somewhere together. And I was like, man, the R1 is coming. I want the R1. And I just gotten married. And I was like, man, the R1, Yamaha has launched the R1. Man, this is the bike to get. And she looked at me and she said, shut up. You will do nothing of that sort. You will put your money away in the bank and not touch it. You're not going to buy any bike. I will not let you. It was practically that. She said that I am drawing this line. You cannot do anything stupid like this. And I was like, what the hell, man? Why can't I do it? And she's like, no, nothing right now.
I would have let you do it. If I were your boss, I would have said, yeah, go burn your fingers. Learn the hard way, because you'll never make the same mistake. This is what exactly the opposite of this is what happened with me when I bought my CB750.
No, but I'm grateful she did that for me.
Yeah. I think my lessons are more powerful, more painful, but more powerful. Because I did exactly this. I want a big bike. How much do you have?
Yeah. You're 750.
1.5 lakh rupees. So I bought that 750. It was not my kind of bike. It didn't run that well, blah, blah, blah. 8 months later, I'm like, I'm a fool. And I had a personal loan. Personal loans were not like now, where the rates are reasonable versus other loans. It was the most expensive kind of loan, but the only one I could get. I put myself in a hole nice and tight, and I didn't stop digging for 8 months. And then I realized that the only way to get out of a hole first, stop digging to find a ladder. So then, duly, bike was sold off. Some losses were taken. It's okay. And I realized, and that is why I'm so clear about wanting to buy keepers rather than experimental motorcycles that I'm not convinced whether I'm into or not. And luckily, my profession allows me to figure out what is a keeper far more accurately than most people will, right? But that CB 750 said, spend frivolously. It's okay. When you're young, you can afford to do it. Make a mistake. You'll dig yourself into a hole. It's fine. But you'll never make the same mistake again.
Okay. You were talking about something like this earlier, and I really wanted to talk about it. Money can help you experience magic. And it comes in exactly with this point. You will look at a set of specs and say that, yeah, they're the same for this brand versus that brand. And so the experience should be the same. It's not. We have been fortunate to drive so many different varieties of vehicles that for us, this is a fact. It's true. It's not something that is a part of our imagination. There are different tastes, flavors, and there'll be some vehicles that will be more special than the others. And hopefully you spend enough time trying to figure out which are those ones. Find the ones that work for you and your needs, because what works for him, what's really special for him, is not special for me, right? It's not necessary it'll be special for me, right? So find that, because then, oh my God, once you find that right combination which works for you, then all the extra money is frivolous. Then you don't need that extra money because you are happy with what you have. And there is genuinely magic to be experienced through automobiles. I mean, there's no two ways about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can, I mean, they can blow your mind every freaking time that you ride. And that then is money in which, I mean, that's an investment. That's not money that's depreciating. That's giving you a return every time. What gave you the idea that we talk about cars and bikes? We talk about physical health, mental health, family, relationships, travel, and a lot more. Head on to the main MotorInc channel and catch up on all of that, plus cars and bikes.